welcome to the Footy with Mates. It's Saturday, probably, wherever you're listening, and I hope you are getting ready for a lovely weekend. Marnes is with us.
Hello.
And today's a very special day because we've organised, this is Marnes' Make-A-Wish. Because Marnes is the number one fan, or maybe would talk themselves down and say they're not their number one fan, but I think
so.
Yeah.
I think this person we've probably talked about on the podcast more than any other AFLW player, except for maybe Dakota.
If I was doing an impersonation of you, I would say their name. That would be the way I would.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Bonnie Toogood.
And how's that for a bio, an introduction?
They are also
number one favourite. I would take it.
co-captain of Essendon.
Yes, I am with Stephanie Kane.
Yes, and the AFL Women's All-Australian Team of 2023.
Yeah.
Vice captain.
Vice captain. The Vicey.
The Vice.
But then also grew up a Bomber.
I grew up a Bomber. It was somewhat forced by my dad, but not mad about it.
That would be my impersonation of you, right? After a day of YouTubing every video that's on YouTube, there's a lot of people with putting microphones in your face and you're going, yeah, look, grow up a Bomber and it's a dream come true to be here and to don the sash and to...
I think it was such a good story, I think, like when coming over from the doggies, it was like people just grabbed onto lifelong Bomber, she's coming home. And it's like, to be fair with the decision, it was literally a cherry on top. For my decision. It wasn't the reason why I left.
To don the sash, just that journey. It's it happens in any time any AFL player ever moves. If they went like Ginnivan now, I remember when I was growing up, Brent Maloney went from Geelong to Melbourne, and everyone was, he went for them, and it's like a secret weapon because like you're going to play better. Jack Higgins as well.
Higgins one is cute. You've seen the photo of Jack Higgins as a baby in the St Kilda cheer squad.
Oh yeah, that's
really cute.
That is really cute.
Yeah.
No, I am very lucky to be playing for the team that I grew up supporting. It is genuinely is a pinch yourself moment.
Yes.
Because imagining playing elite football, I thought I was going to be amongst the boys and donning the sash.
Yep.
So to actually be doing that with a bunch of cool people in my team is unreal.
And you get to train at an airport hangar. Can I? Because
I can hear the planes taking off when we're training.
I was flying into Tullamarine the other day and I could see it.
It's actually so because I was at training the other day and I was like, I said it to Celia, like the comms person, I was like, it's actually so picturesque just like watching the planes as they're training. She's like, well, yeah, we see this nonstop every single day.
Legit,
but
every
it
day.
is. It's beautiful.
Every day, and you hear the roar. I'm not sure what it's roaring, whether it's it coming in and landing and the brakes coming on or whether it's the roar to take off. But yeah, that happens regularly.
Depends what point of the season we're in, I think.
Yeah.
I can tell the difference between different planes by their engines.
Oh, yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Being serious.
Well, like
For real?
like level one of that is an Airbus A380. So they're the
double deckers.
Yeah, with the 4 engines.
Yep, they take you right across the world.
They go like this. You would hear them. You would know the difference. You'd be like, they're the ones that make you up and go, what was that? That's an Airbus A380.
I can't wait for training tomorrow.
Yeah, tell everyone.
To see like if I can
you message
the difference?
That's
get
fun.
a voice memo. Just like, all right, this is this one. Halfway through a drill. Sorry, Woody, just got to go record this plane.
I would really appreciate it. But is it I'm fascinated by state-of-the-art training facilities. Is it nice? Do you just feel like it's normal now?
Is it nice?
Is it like, because like we had Carlton boys in and they were like, we have 48 pools. And how many pools do you have?
We've got a pool down on the ground level. It's a little bit dungeony, but still a pool. We appreciate that pool.
Dungeon pool.
Just needs one more window, I reckon, and then it would be fabulous.
Great.
A windowless pool room.
It's got a one window, but I just think it needs a south, whatever the right facing window. It just doesn't have it. But hey, it's pretty good.
When you win the premiership, you can ask for your window.
Yeah, that's just a lap pool, and then we've got some hot and colds on like the main level of the facility, and then we're getting some more put into the women's space as well. So lots of pools, a couple of saunas. They're fantastic as well.
You got saunas?
Yep.
Can I ask the question?
Yes.
What is the value of a sauna, like health-wise? Is it real? Is there real value, or is it just nice to be in a warm room?
Okay, I think in the depths of winter, it's nice to be in a warm room. But from like my athletic research perspective, it's got something to do with like circulating like blood flow, and that gets like able to renew, your cells in your muscles and recover better.
Is there a steam room the same thing, or is it a different thing?
I think there's a difference. I actually don't really like a steam room.
Why?
Because just of the breathing aspect of it.
Sure.
It's like real thick and like not a vibe for me.
Mm.
So I'm
in your
not
throat.
enjoying it. So I'm in there and I'm like, I've got to leave. But a sauna, infrared sauna, there are different ones, but I find a real benefit. I think too, it's a place to be mindful and just relax for a second, and that can sometimes add more value to your recovery than whatever the sauna is actually doing physically.
It's quite nice.
That is a genuine part of things, is a time to be able to just sit and think as well. That's the value people say with swimming as well, isn't it? Is that you can't listen to anything while you're doing it.
Except that I've got my Apple Watch now, so when I swim, it still buzzes me.
Well, you got to get that off.
But I want to track. I don't want to exercise without tracking. That's pointless.
Yeah, otherwise, if you don't upload it to Strava, did it even count?
Did it even happen? I had to get rid of Strava because Dad would sometimes be like, "Oh, an easy one today."
Oh, brutal.
Okay.
Brutal.
I'm sorry if I got anything wrong, but you've been in every season of AFLW so far.
No, I missed the first one.
Right.
So came in the second year.
You were drafted in the first by the Doggies?
By the Doggies at the end of 2017, and then came in my first game was round 1 in 2018, and then 7 games later we won a premiership.
Yeah.
So I feel like I peaked quite early in my career.
Yeah, that was.
7 games in a premiership.
Yeah.
My God.
Yep.
How do you
Got
remember?
the medallion and ring and all.
Do you remember how was that first year doing that?
Oh, it was an absolute whirlwind for me. My first game of senior football was round 1 of AFLW level. And it was a steep learning curve just from coming from netball, crossing over.
That team was very good as well.
It was
yeah.
a stacked
So that's
team.
Katie Brennan and who else is in that team?
Carney.
Katie, Carney,
Birch?
Ellie, Mon,
Libby in it?
Libby.
Yeah.
We had like Asta
Yeah.
O'Connor. We had
Because
everyone.
yes.
Jenna Bruton, probably the most
yeah.
underrated player in the AFLW, but was probably one of the most underrated players we had in that side. So 100% a stacked team, and I think the coach at the time, Paul Groves, he definitely coached to the level of what that team was and could comprehend a really solid game plan. And for the likes of me, a couple other cross-coders, we were able to kind of like come in and fill the holes that needed to and just came in and played the role that we needed to play.
Yeah.
And I hope that then helped us get to where we got to. But it was a very exciting start to my career, a steep learning curve, just from playing the game in general. But had a ball of a year that. Yeah.
Money. I have a follow-up question to that, but please jump in at any moment with
you
anything.
keep going.
In that, I remember in the first 2 seasons of W, there were some teams who were actively flooding quite hard because their team wasn't up to it, and there was a lot of criticism about certain teams not being like just ruining the aesthetic of the game. I'm not
Drag
going.
him.
I'm not going to name the team.
Yep.
But they ended up, I think, sacking the coach because it was that they wouldn't. There was That's anyway. I don't know, Carlton, what was the game style of the Bulldogs that early on, and was it run and play? Do you remember? Or
Nothing to do with the Carlton comment.
but no, because like they were ruining it looked awful.
Okay.
But like if a team was full of absolute guns, was it more of a run and play, or was it a?
I could sit here and I think you could talk to nearly anyone who was on the list at the time. Grovesy coached us in a way that it was very clear of what our game plan was, and going into every game we knew what we needed to do and what we were trying to execute. And when we played that, we were most likely successful, and we gained a lot of trust in that as the season went on. And I think just because of the high level of IQ that we had in that football team, it was easy to put in plays that teams are probably doing now.
Yeah.
That
Quite quickly. Yeah.
quite quickly, just because of the caliber of players. And we're really clear on how we wanted to progress the football up the field from like a D50 transition to our forward 50. We knew when we wanted to play fast. We knew when we were going to play a bit slower. Particularly with the women's game, we're combating wind and, the conditions. So it's like, all right, what's the fast side of the ground? What's the slow side of the ground? So we were just very clear on what we needed to execute in that season, and then we just had superstars everywhere around the ground that were able to do that. I think probably we had lots of injuries though that season, like Izzy Huntington went down, Daria Bannister went down, KB ended up going down but then came back.
That's right.
And then missed the grand final anyway.
Yeah.
And it was just like we actually had a lot of hardship within our season, but we were able to just kind of stick true to what we were doing, and ultimately in the end we were able to get it over the line.
Yeah.
So it was a very special feeling I felt being a part of that team. Everyone had mad respect for each other. Didn't necessarily have to everyone be best friends, but it's like that mad level of respect, and everyone just went out and did what they needed to do. And there's a lot of just like love and special feelings within that team.
Are you still close with them all?
Yeah, I'm close with a lot of that team's nearly all around the competition to be fair now.
It's spread out.
Yeah.
The movement's crazy, yeah.
Was it like hard having that like dissipated in like the years that followed?
It literally was like within the next 2 years before I left. I think we got Doggies, poor things, been I think blooded every year with talent, which is a credit to the program that they're running and the people that they're drafting and getting in, that they're able to keep developing and then see opportunities elsewhere.
Yep.
But it was hard at the time, definitely being like, you knew what we had. And then I think Geelong and North came in the following years and we lost, Emma Carney, Jenna, Asta went to Geelong. So it's kind of like they're key people within that team. And then, obviously the following year, Katie, Mon, like it just was, it was never ending, it felt like. And then we had one steady year and then Essendon. Oops, sorry.
Speaking of which, then you went to
Off I
Essendon.
went.
And you're the face of Essendon, I would say, and have been in their introduction on the women's side. And a very, but across, I remember I went to a men's game and I messaged Marnie, you're a gun on the mic as well, for you are truly Bombers.
Yeah, my big head on the big screen at MCG is a bit wild.
Do you like it?
I actually really enjoy it. I've got a new co-host this year, Leo James. He does actually a fair bit of stuff around sport in Victoria, and it's been great. We haven't had many home games though, so the next one is Anzac Day.
Oh my God, that's so
I'm going to be
exciting.
like Taylor Swift.
That is
commanding
very exciting.
100,000
You're
people.
a big Taylor Swift person, aren't you?
Oh, wildly,
Yeah. I was really
Actually,
jealous watching you at that concert.
I'm openly wildly about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a Swiftie.
Do you have a friendship bracelet?
Well, not
on you
on
now?
right now.
You know
Maybe I'm not now. Oh, now I'm questioning my Swiftiness.
the AFLW made a bunch of friendship bracelets, and I messaged the person that made them, being like, "Can I have the Bonnie one?" And they're like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then refused to give it to me because everyone else wanted it so bad. It was like the prize one. It was like,
What was it again?
"Are you out of the woods?" It was that song, so it must have been out of the. No, that doesn't make any sense.
Out of the goods.
No, because it was like Too Good, obviously.
Oh, I want it. No one else should have it.
No, yeah, I know.
If you got it,
sorry.
If you got it, I reckon you'd be like that TikTok of that lady crying at the Sydney show. That woman howling at Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah.
That'll be you if you get the bracelet. So my question about particularly your role at Essendon, but also as a face of the AFLW, how do you feel of the pressure of that? Because do you ever feel the need to to defend the AFLW, or do you feel do you feel like you just can play? Or
when it comes to actually playing the game, I don't hold that pressure at all, because I'm very clear on what I need to execute with my performance and what the team needs in that moment or in moments throughout the game. And there's something about game day. I can't really explain it. The moment I walk into whatever oval we're at, it is the most present I am for 4 hours. Like nothing comes over me and anything else. I'm there with my teammates, coaches, what we need to execute on the field. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. But it's the most present I am all week is those 4 hours. So carrying any pressure from that, no. And I've only really accessed that in the past couple of years moving to Essendon. I felt that I haven't put personal and individual pressure on myself as much as I used to. I think I've really learnt how to kind of combat that. But when it comes to champion AFLW, I more see it from a perspective of I get to go out and do what so many women didn't get to do. And I get to show young girls and boys that now that, AFLW players are playing at the highest level. And for me, that's more of a celebration rather than any pressure that I feel like I need to hold.
So when you say 4 hours and you're locked in, does that mean you don't no interest in your phone? There's no you're just pure thought that doesn't drift?
So we get to the ground 2 hours before game time and we have to put our phone in a lockbox.
Yeah.
So no phones. I'm having it's not like I'm not talking about external things with my teammates. It could be
Swift.
I dance a lot pre-game because I like to keep a level of flow and just looseness. So I'll dance with my teammates, talk about the game, talk with coaches. My routine into a game is very dependent on when to peak my adrenaline and arousal. And it's all kind of like, it used to be like, have I done this? Have I done this? Have I done this? When now it's like I've been around for so long now, I know how I'm going to get to the point that I am feeling, ready to go. And that takes time.
Yeah.
That took me years to figure it out and what I like in my preparation, what I need in my preparation. And I'm letting go of if I haven't done something, it's not going to ruin my game.
Yeah.
It's like being a little bit more flexible, but knowing how and what arousal level I need to be at to be able to perform.
Do you have pre-game rituals?
I have routines. I don't have anything where I'm like, I have to wear this pair of undies or bra or socks or anything. I used to be back in my netball days, but I listened to a podcast, I can't remember which one it was, and it was about rituals and like superstitions. And it's like, it's you're almost ruling yourself out. If you don't do one of your superstitions, you're already kind of giving yourself an excuse as to why you haven't performed that day or put doubt in your brain for no reason. Yeah. But I definitely always love to be the first one taped when I get to a game because I just love to get that out of the way. I got a fair bit of tape to keep my body together. And then just like game day hugs, physical touch with my teammates, high fives. We'll nearly hug every person within our change rooms, and then juggling, reactionary stuff, get through some skills, nothing too crazily high intense, goal kicking to suss out the wind. But it's very much of a flow for me.
On the hugging, what does that do for you? Is it just the connection?
Yeah, for me, it's the connection piece with my teammates. And it could be just a moment where I can give some confidence to that person, whether it's like a hug and saying something or something that we're going to work on. Or I think I benefit a lot from the physical touch. And then I hope that my teammates can also feel that energy exchange. Because I think there's this unspoken energy exchange that happens in those moments that you can't really identify, but it's there and it's in that like camaraderie and team environment. That's what you get. And I just find I can have that moment with every single player who's playing that day.
I love that. I'm going to pivot and make a big change, but you've been getting into NRL, I hear.
You slowly
but surely.
It's on the record now. She's an NRL girly.
Gosh, you respond to one Instagram and then you're off. I actually have gotten into it slowly.
What do you think the strengths of NRL to an AFL is? What do you think? What is appealing about it? Help me understand.
I'm still trying to understand it. Randomly as a kid, if it was on, I would always put it on, but I never understood it. And then I completely ditched, then didn't watch it again. And then, I don't know, just have been to a couple games. I've had some of my friends from Doggies who are mad NRL were like, you got to come to a game, you got to come to a game. I was like, I just don't know if I want to, because the game itself doesn't make sense to me. It's like the whole
two lines
running at each other like a full ball.
Yeah.
Like, I suppose we
intense.
do that a little bit in football, but I don't know, not like that.
360.
Yeah.
It's just wild. But went to actually the Storm and Warriors game where...
that would have been all right.
Yeah, and the...
Save your coats.
Yes, wild try. Apparently that was insane. I didn't appreciate it.
He left 5 meters off the ground and
that in the
in
footy
the
all the
air
time.
to
And he
score the try
flipped.
on the line.
Yeah, and it was right in front of me, and I wish someone else was there because they would have appreciated it.
You would have been
More than
like,
I did.
okay.
I was like,
all right, no
Storm
worries.
won.
And it was like the match winner, like at the very end.
Last dying seconds.
Yeah.
So everyone around me, because I was in the Warriors section, was so depressed.
Yeah, totally.
No, that was probably the best try I've ever seen.
Well, I saw it.
Okay, we'll go
In
for
real
you.
life.
Yeah.
So in real life. We'll go back to the Bombers, but I just wanted to bring that up for you. Mine's on the NRL.
I'm so excited about State of Origin. Are you going to go to the State of Origin game at the MCG?
Yep.
It's okay. It's in 53 days.
Are tickets out?
No.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Tell me when tickets
Okay,
are
I
out,
will.
and then I'll try to get some tickets at the MCG.
How do you feel? I'll ask you the Bombers questions. How do you feel about this year?
Ooh,
Men or women?
Women's.
women's.
Oh, and the men's as well, sure, because you're at these games.
Yeah, I'm at the games.
Do you ever get to just watch games as a fan, or now because it's your club and you technically work because you're presenting?
Home games, not so much, but I still, the fan in me comes out. So I remember Dreamtime last year, it was our home game, worked that game on the mic, and it was the dying seconds we kicked the goal and I was in the race and I was just going, I was beside myself. So the inner fan comes out still when I'm working, I'm just like
That's
in the
great.
race, just like cheering so hard. All of the fans on the side of the race are like, oh my gosh, she's nuts. But yeah, I actually weirdly become more of a football fan during the men's season, because when I watch women's football, they're my competitors and I get far too invested in the games. I go, oh, what could I do in that situation against that opponent?
Punch.
Yeah.
I know what you
And
mean.
I really struggle to actually be a fan in my season, just because of the competitive in me comes out too hardly.
I know what you mean. Like I grew up watching every comedy show ever, and then when I started doing it as a job, I can't watch it anymore because it becomes work, and you start engaging with how did they get this or what happened here, and it doesn't mean you don't watch it, but it changes your enjoyment of it entirely.
Yeah, it's definitely happened to me, and for someone that does commentate on the women's games as well, it's a real push and pull for me. It's like I need to watch this because I know I'm going to jump on a show and have to talk about it. But then I'm like, oh gosh, all I can think about is how I dissect this game, and it's actually it's almost like a work times 5 when I watch it.
Yeah.
Is that period at the end of in that season now does your whole lifestyle change for 10 to 11 weeks of the year? It must be weird with the men. It's like half your year you're literally playing every week, but it's this 2-3 months of just absolute. Is that hard to manage, or do you just pivot?
Oh, you pivot, and everyone pivots well because it's what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with it every year because all I want to do is be around my team and be training. And when preseason hits, you're like, oh, all right, we're going. But this period from last game that's in November to end of May, it's 6 months.
Huge.
That's a massive
It's a
period,
huge amount of time where your lifestyle and your connection to your team completely changes. And that's something that I'm very mindful of. And you go from routine to no routine to then finding what your new routine is for 4 months.
Yeah, and then you would forget the recency of in your mind, and
Yeah, and there's been a change which has been good with us being contracted for 12 months of the year now. So that's allowed us to really access our clubs a little bit more and have a little bit more resource, more officially but unofficially, but have that resource there to really help us through this time, which I've seen a real shift in that, which has been fantastic and will help the competition in general, having that touch point more officially. But it's a really difficult time of year. People normally pick up their working hours and then their training has to fit around that. So instead of training in the day, you're training really early mornings, late nights. I think it's absolutely remarkable, some of the stories in AFLW. We've got Sophie Alexander, who's a paramedic, who comes off 12-hour shifts and then trains and performs like they do. And then we've got Steph Kane, my co-captain, worked full-time, ridiculous hours, actually been on the Whitten Oval project.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What
And
does she do?
she's in construction management, a boss lady.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
And it's and then is able to do what she does at training. And there's the AFLW is littered with all of those stories everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's actually remarkable of what players are able to do.
What's your work-life balance like in that time? What do you do?
So I actually work at the club. So my life is Essendon. I love the club.
Sash.
Don the sash forever. So I am the Women's Pathways Coordinator at the club. So I work through the NGA space, multicultural and Indigenous participants, helping them get through pathways. And we run a few other programs for 14, 15-year-olds just to bolster the talent within the Northwest region, help them get into whether it's the Calder Cannons or into the talent pathway. So that's been really enjoyable for me. I've had to learn on the fly with how the Northwest region works with EDFL, RDFNL. So it's really exciting what I get to do, and I've come across some really talented 15, 16-year-olds that hopefully maybe in a few years might be my teammates, which would be pretty cool.
There's been a bit of chat and discourse recently, particularly the Players Association and then with recruiters in the AFL about Indigenous Australians and First Nations Australians and their participation in AFL and the reducing numbers in that. You would work quite closely with this. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So one of our NGA regions is actually Tiwi, and football up there is booming.
Yeah,
they're an island of 3. So we went up on a trip VFLW played a practice game against NT rep side, and we had the opportunity, Steph and I, to go and coach that, and then we went up to Tiwi afterwards, and we were just learning about everything that's been going on. And they have the TIFL, so they have a men's and women's TIFL competition. There's like 3,000 people on this island, and 1,000 of them registered to play football.
That's amazing.
Like, is that not
That's so
absolutely
cool.
wild?
Yeah.
So we know that a large chunk of people in our region are obsessed with football, but it's a really interesting and developing space. I think we need to continue doing the work. I also think we're now competing with so many sports.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing that we have to be really mindful of and not get complacent with.
Yeah.
It's like we've got to keep doing the work in growing this game, particularly in multicultural and indigenous spaces, because basketball, soccer now is pumping after the Matildas, like Tilly time. Like that's just revolutionized women's sport in a different way, and now AFL and AFLW are going to have to compete with that. We want to champion people doing sport, but we also want people to pick our sport.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the best sport on earth.
Agree.
So it's like, I think there are challenges that we've never really had to face before, particularly in Victoria, because we've been so footy obsessed.
Yeah.
That it's like we've actually got to keep doing the work and not forget how important that work is within community.
Love that.
Why is it the best sport on earth?
Because it's so chaotic.
Yeah.
It's so unpredictable. When you play the game, you never find yourself in the same situation. It's always slightly different. And I think that's so exciting. As a player, there's so much to learn and so much to get better at. But as a spectator, you just don't know what could happen.
Have you ever had a ball, like a certain goal, and then the ball bounced the wrong way
Absolutely.
on you?
Like, I've kicked it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Multiple
That would annoy
times.
me so much.
I remember a practice match against West Coast last year. I was kicking it from 45. I was like, oh, this is going to just roll in. And then it went in the other direction. I was like,
great
it didn't
level.
roll in.
It's my favourite thing. Well, there was a goal, like, what, last week?
Yeah,
It was like
against Brisbane, there was a Melbourne. Yeah.
Oh, was it a Melbourne goal?
No, it was a Brisbane one bounced out. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I love that.
But that's what's so great about it. It's like you
It
just
is.
don't know what's going to happen. And as a player, you have to be such an all-rounder. You have your strengths, but you have to be able to be fast, strong, ball skill. Like, you got to have it all.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the game.
Oh, yeah. My last question is there's a new head of the W. This has come in.
Emma Moore.
Who's answering to Laura Kane in some respect at sometimes as well. I'm still confused by that.
Yes.
Where would you like to see the W grow and expand?
Oh, what's your 5-year plan?
Yeah. What would you? What are
That's a 5-year plan. If I was. I think it's really important. We're still definitely in a growth phase with AFLW, and we want to make sure we're growing our audiences on telly and at games, and making sure we're packing out whatever our max capacity of a stadium is. Like, let's make sure we're packing them out. I think what's important, and like, it's really easy to sit here in an ideal world and be like, oh, I want this, this, and this. But as players, all we can really control is our professionalism and what we're doing on the field.
Yeah.
Because then the game will speak for itself, and it will be able to entice more players, more people, make it more entertaining, which it's there. The women's game is entertaining. It's very different to what you're going to see from the men. What's spectacular, and I'm very passionate about this, what's spectacular in the women's game is going to be different. So it's like a player in AFLW taking a pack mark when there's 10 people standing around is wild. Where, like, yes, you might not see a specky all the time like you do in the men's game, but like it's actually celebrating the things that are unique to AFLW. And I think that's where we need to get to, is like sharing that story and championing those stories, so people are educated in the community, being like, oh yeah, it's actually a really exciting game and product. And so as players, we just need to keep controlling our professionalism and our conditioning to the game and execution of skill, and that's coming along with now being more professional and all of that. So I'm excited about where AFLW is heading. It's great that we've got a GM of women's football now going to be steering us in the right direction, and we have confidence in all facets of whether it's what the AFL's, how they're trying to grow it, our confidence in the PA, and then we've just got to have confidence in us players and doing what we need to do to make sure that we're delivering our end of the bargain.
Love that.
Were you impressed or not impressed? Were you expecting the reception that Windy Hill got last season? Because I think it was like the second or third highest attended, just behind Henson
That's right, I
Park.
remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
As in, like, knowing how important Windy Hill is to Essendon people.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough. I went to, so there's this old, I don't want to call them old ladies, but there's these wonderful women who are slightly older than
Of age.
myself. They have a little group and they meet every 2 weeks. So I went down to this group and they were so lovely, but the questions they were asking me were all about, does the club know how important, Windy Hill is? And like the club does, we do know, and particularly us AFLW players, it's our home ground. So we have learnt the history. We've had people come in, talk to us about it. And just the community so behind us about how important Windy Hill is, because it brings back so many memories for so many people.
Yeah.
And I wasn't surprised about the reception of it. Seeing the stand packed against St Kilda round 2 I was like, yeah, this is how we're going to continue to grow the game, with our passionate fans coming out to Windy Hill and bringing that community feel to footy again.
Going to Essendon, going to Windy Hill and seeing a footy game, and then going to Penny Lane afterwards, the new cinema, and then going to Brunetti's afterwards.
I love Brunetti's.
That's the shit. That's my dream. Is like an Essendon-y time.
It is an Essendon vibe.
Yeah,
I
an Essendon
would've
vibe.
thought.
You go to Guzman Gomez.
Sure.
Oh, I love Guzman. GYG.
What's your order?
I get a burrito bowl with extra corn chips, because then you don't need the fork.
No.
But
You
just
just
rid of
eat
that.
it with the
what
chippies.
you're doing, if the bowl is healthier, but then if it's just with corn chips, then it's back to what it would be as a burrito. Or is it just a preference of the bowl?
It's a preference of the bowl.
Fair enough.
But I also was like, I'm probably going to this is probably going to fuel my training, or also help me recover with heaps of carbohydrates
Hell yeah.
and saturate my muscles.
Have you done many ads?
Ads?
Are they like footy ads, for a car or food or
No, but if people want to hit me up, I did drama in year 11.
Did
shit?
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we should act in a play together.
Have you ever been in a play?
Yeah, I have actually.
What play?
I did Arabian Nights at school.
Cool.
Is that the lots of little mini plays? Is that Arabian Nights?
Maybe.
Can you give us some?
What else did I do? I did a individual drama solo.
A monologue,
I
yeah.
did a solo.
monologue.
Yeah. I dropped drama before year 12.
Drama solo.
Why?
Because the thought of doing a solo for year 12 made me a little bit sad. It was
Sad?
stressed. It made
Oh,
me
it's stressed,
stressed.
yeah. Yeah.
I went to
I
performing
did
arts high school, so we were
Yeah.
all about
Yeah.
the monologues.
Anyway, they did it to Soul Surfer.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a movie.
Oh.
Oh,
Do you know what
and
Soul Surfer is?
No.
No.
It's a great movie. Everyone watch Soul Surfer.
I know-
It's about Bethany. Can't remember her last name. She got attacked by a shark.
Oh,
Soul Surfer.
Yeah.
that
And then
sounds
continued
horrible.
to surf with one arm.
Is it sort
Fuck
of
outta
true
here.
story?
It's a true story.
Cool.
Like
Anyways.
documentary or reenact?
A biopic.
And were you playing Bethany?
No, I was playing multiple other
You
characters.
playing the shark?
Well, because you know how they give you all of these things where it's different standards of you have to use this object and this
Transformation of objects.
transformation of objects. So I was transformation of people.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you should have done it in year 12. We should make you do year 12 drama.
Ah,
Because we
yeah,
both
right.
did it.
I'd do it.
Yeah, and you would. Yeah, you would. It's just New South Wales version of it, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should have Bonnie and more ads. I
Yep.
want to see you because we talk about ads a lot on this. I want to
Yeah.
be watching KO and see. I keep seeing the same AFLW players in ads.
Put me in ads.
Yeah.
I did drama.
Yeah. I want to see some. I want to see some dramatic performances. Bonnie, thank you so much for coming on. We really.
Wait, we
really-
didn't talk about footy snacks. And everyone, when I said, what questions do you want to ask Bonnie, they were all footy snacks.
All right. Yeah. No. Great.
What are your favourite footy snacks?
Like when I'm at footy and
Yeah.
I eat food.
Yep. Don't say jam donut.
Ben Brown.
Everyone says.
Well, we don't have jam donuts on offer. Oh, if we go to if I go to the footy.
Yeah.
Hot chippies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hot chippies.
I love. They're my biggest weakness.
Vinegar, yes or no?
No.
Yeah.
Chicken salt, hard yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I have multiple.
Who does
chicken
the best
salts on
chips in Melbourne, like fast food wise?
mine. Yeah, we talk about this a lot. With
Oh.
don't
Contentious
underthink
decision.
this.
No, I'm not underthinking
There's a
it.
clear
I'll
answer.
overthink
It's a
it.
clear
It's a clear
answer.
This will be the
answer.
legacy. Like you'll hear back from people listeners, like I'm really offended of what you
Oh
said here.
no, I'm really stressed about this answer because I know people would hate on me.
I'll give you some information. So I believe the number one chip in Australia now, and it's a huge riser. It's a bit of a bombers in that they're rising.
Yes.
Is the Hungry Jack's chip.
Ooh.
Used to be bottom, and now
That's
it's the
risen.
number one most reliable chip. This gentleman over here thinks the KFC chip is the best
Yeah,
chip.
so many people think KFC.
He's also big on grilled chip.
Yeah, grilled, yes or no?
You know what?
Just
A schnitz chip is really quite good.
Yeah.
A schnitz chip.
Yeah.
Grilled chip, not sold on
From
it.
High Point, a nice High Point rosemary.
Don't mind a Nando's chip.
Yes, I was going to say Nando's.
With the
I
peri-peri salt.
I disagree. I'm offended by that.
Why? Because of the salt?
I think it's a bad
But
chip.
I'm not going to lie to you. I tell you what, because I love fries.
Yeah.
My favourite fries are Macca's fries.
It's interesting.
Really?
He's a
They're too thin.
I will have
I
not got
love
the ad.
them.
I will have not got the ad by now, but I had to audition yesterday for a Macca's ad.
Did you?
Yeah, and there was like you have to go to Paris for the Olympics and do it. And it was for 20
Oh, well,
grand.
that's kind of dope.
Wait, so do you get to go to Paris and you get 20 grand?
Yeah. I don't do it for free.
We're in the wrong business.
Ads is actually where it's at.
I don't know, I'm not allowed to do them
Yeah.
Why?
because I work for an
She's
independent
award-winning.
always
She's a Quill
newspaper.
award-winning journalist. She just won a Quill.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
But she
do you
doesn't
do
get to be
with
in
the
Macca's
quill?
ads.
Whenever anyone comes to my house, this is my quill, and I make them hold it.
Oh,
It's
so you
quite
actually
heavy.
legit got a quill.
She legit. What was the article for the Tillies?
Yeah, it was the FIFA coverage.
How you cover sports so good, Mans.
Keep going.
Actually.
No, don't do it.
Particularly
thank you.
during that time was dope.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
You're very good.
Thank you. I try hard. It's hard.
Yeah, it's a
But
hard
it's
industry.
hard.
How you turn things around is impressive.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, and it's so because like
Do you
sometimes
go to
it's
bed
like
late?
yeah. Well,
Is
even
this now my
today.
podcast?
Yeah, do it. I'll leave. I'm fine.
The Arsenal. Do you care for the WSL at all?
I do now. Oh, is that American?
A women's Super League. So it's like
Over there.
England.
Not England. I know the American
That's the NW.
S-
No,
NWO,
it's too many
Hulk
letters.
Hogan and Kevin Nash.
New South National Women's
the
Soccer.
New World Order.
NW. Whatever.
Anyway, go back to what you were saying. I
About
interrupted.
WCW.
Arsenal are coming to Melbourne. Like the Arsenal women are coming to Melbourne, and also the Tottenham men. Broden's big on Tottenham men, but Arsenal women are coming to
big on
Melbourne to play at
Tottenham
Marvel
men.
Stadium against like an all-stars A-League women side, and like they're going to destroy. Even like I was thinking about it today, like the players that the like A-Leagues are going to put up, and it's like they're going to get. I mean, we don't know which Arsenal players are coming,
Gut them.
but I think so.
Yeah.
I think they're going to
Tear them a new soccer
because
ball.
they're doing that against like Chelsea at the moment. Like if they're beating Chelsea, they're going to like.
They might be
absolutely
friendly and just
destroy
only
the
kill them a little bit.
A-Leagues.
Oh, I need to
Maybe.
make sure I get tickets to that.
I
That'd
think
actually be
they're
really
mostly
cool.
sold out except the really expensive ones. But surely you can
Oh,
just ask the W to.
might,
If you were in a-
might
if
just,
you-
like, ask some people.
If
Yeah.
you were to pivot to the Olympics, what would be your sport that you would
Ooh,
win?
that I'd win.
Are you strong? Are you big on the weights?
I do. I like gym.
Upper body, lower body. What are we doing?
A lower body is where I excel in life.
You lifting? We deadlifting? We doing leg
Back
press?
squats.
Spac squats.
Actually, like my calves are kind of my strength.
You're isolating them.
Yep, isolating them.
What are
Like
you doing?
Sam Kerr. She's got,
You doing a hack squat, calf raise on that? What are we doing?
Oh, just some like Smith machine.
Smith machine.
Like isometrics as well as some actual razors.
Yeah.
I don't know any of these
Very
words.
important for injury prevention.
Can I look at your calf later? We can swap calves.
If we could do that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't give them up. I like my calves.
Yeah, no, I bet they're great calves.
You're only like, I don't want those.
Oh, look at them.
Do you wear long socks when you play, or do you get the calves out?
No, I get the calves out.
Yeah.
Also, our W socks aren't long. So
Yeah, great. Is that are they just
unless
out?
you're a ruck. Unless you're a ruck, then
A sock's just a long sock's just out.
I love long socks. I'm a bit disappointed. I'm also disappointed
bunch
that
up though and
they're like,
get a bit warm.
yeah, but
They're
they're so
playing
cool.
in the end of the year. It's turning. You can't be wearing long socks.
The Essendon Pride socks are black with the black long socks. What shoes are you wearing that they look good in? Why would they not bring out
I
white
would
ones?
wear black long socks to the gym.
Don't do that.
Wait, what do you mean? So where the red strap is going to be...
Well, I mean, like I wear white
rainbow?
sneakers
Rainbow.
every day, and so I wear white socks every day because it would look.
Yeah,
Bad if
that's
you wore
actually
black
a bit
socks.
illegal, yeah, to do
And so
that.
it's like I'm not like who has black sneakers?
I'm a black sock boy, but I'm
You
wearing
got white socks now.
See, that's a little bit like... But on Vans with that white, that's okay.
Yeah, but you're not wearing black socks with those.
I do.
No,
can.
you shouldn't.
I do with a short.
What about... So what? If you were a football player...
Yep.
and you're going to training, so you don't need to wear team socks. You would wear with a black boot a white sock.
Yep.
Oh,
How old are you? How old? Marnie's 29. How old are you?
26.
So you're of the same era.
You must match.
Yeah.
You must match your boot with your sock.
Yeah, no, now I'm thinking about it. I do
looks
agree with
funny.
you, but
You've
I'm
made a
not.
sock.
If I
but
wore
I'm
a
not,
white sock with a black boot or a black sock with a white boot, it's just a little bit clashy.
but I'm not walking. But I'm not buying merch.
I've got
to
socket
wear.
on.
You know what I mean?
But you're wearing AC.
Like, why would they not just bring out merch that's like white socks? Because most of the fan base are going to be wearing them just like out and about.
I don't know. Start
On
a
the boot.
petition. I'm not the right person to talk to.
Can you just bring it up at the club, please?
See what I can do.
How do you feel about the men? Just before we go, the side.
Just men. How do you feel about men?
The gender. How about men?
Men.
The side that you have
Yes.
to watch play for your job.
Yes.
How are they? Do you feel like they'll make the 8 this year, or do they need another year? The Brad Scott movement, the edge, that extra edge, the edge they have
the
now.
Essendon edge. I think it's I'm very confident in the way that they're playing football. I know a couple of weeks ago against Port, it wasn't our best showing, but you're going to have those games where you're still solidifying what your game plan is, and sometimes you go in with something that's missing and you can't quite get it on your terms.
Yep.
But I'm really confident in the direction that the players and Brad and the men's team is going in. Like
Cool.
They've got a good vibe around the club.
I was on a plane with them the other day. They're all very nice.
They're very nice. Yep.
Who's winning a final first? Men or women?
Look, I hope for the club's sake, like obviously the men's season is going to be first. So I'm hoping they do. But yeah, we'll be either a close second
Well
or
answered.
we'll be winning it. Yeah.
Well answered.
Well answered.
On that note, I'm going to get Tom home because he's.
Yeah, I feel like you should go home, Tom.
Thank you so much, Bonnie, for coming in.
No,
It was a
thank you
really
for having me.
wonderful chat. It's made Marnie's day, and it made my day too.
Good.
And the Macca's chip thing, I'll sit with. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Bounce that pill.